Among high school age youths aged 14 to 18 years, 1,952 suicides occurred in 2021, making suicide the third leading cause of death for this age group. Suicide accounted for approximately 1/5 of deaths. Deaths are only a portion of the burden of suicidal behavior. Suicidal attempts and suicidal thoughts among youths exceed deaths among this group, according to the CDC. As someone who personally struggles with different mental illnesses, and as someone who has people in their life who struggle with mental health issues, I can personally attest to the importance of mental health and why we need to spread more knowledge and awareness on the subject. In front of you, I handed out a chart that shows the suicide rates among people aged 15 to 19 from 2001 to 2021. If you guys could please take a moment to look at the chart. Thank you. Schools should have a mandatory mental health and wellness class in high school. By doing so, we could reduce the stigma behind mental illness, increase mental health literacy, inform students of the symptoms and treatments, and help students learn healthier ways to cope with stress. Firstly, having a mandatory mental health and wellness curriculum in high school will reduce stigma. Stigma is when someone views you in a negative way because you have a distinguishing characteristic or personal trait that's thought to be or actually is a disadvantage. Sadly, negative attitudes and beliefs towards people who have a mental health condition are common. Stigma can lead to discrimination. Discrimination may be obvious and direct, such as someone making a negative remark about your mental illness or your treatment. Or it may be unintentional or subtle, such as someone avoiding you because the person assumes you could be unstable, violent, or dangerous due to your mental illness. Stigmas are learned during the adolescent stage and stem from the lack of knowledge, media portrayal, and false information. They can have devastating effects on people. One of the many consequences of stigmatizing attitudes towards mental illness is the impact it has on help seeking and recovery. Another issue that comes from stigmas is that it creates a very uncomfortable environment in schools. It leads to bullying and harsh judgment and prevents students from speaking up and seeking the help they need. A way that can help potentially eliminate this issue is to ensure mental health literacy is well taught. Mental health literacy can help reduce stigmas and negative attitudes towards mental health. According to the National Library of Medicine, the term mental health literacy was first introduced in 1997, and it was defined as knowledge and beliefs about mental disorders which aid the recognition, management, or prevention. Having good mental health literacy among students will help in teaching about the symptoms of disorders and signs to look for if they or someone they know might be struggling with a mental illness. More benefits includes students being able to accurately identify the different types of mental illnesses. Not only will mental health literacy aid in students being able to recognize the symptoms and understand mental illnesses better, but it will also help students know where to seek treatment and find healthy ways to cope with stress. Having a mandatory mental health and wellness class in high school will help inform students healthy ways to cope with stress and different forms of help that are available. Stress is a huge issue with high school students because they have to deal with tests, excessive loads of homework, working, getting good grades, and the pressure of figuring out what they want to do with their future. Many students negatively cope with stress by skipping meals, getting little to no sleep, and not making time to take care of themselves. I would know. These are just a few negative ways some students cope with stress. A study was done by the American Psychological Association surveying teens' stress habits. They discovered that many teens reported feeling overwhelmed and depressed or sad as a result of stress. 1 in 4 of the students admitted to skipping meals repeatedly due to stress. Having wellness incorporated into this class could help students find healthy ways to cope with stress and pressure. It would hopefully help students learn how to take care of themselves physically and mentally. Students would be able to learn about healthy ways to reduce stress and the negative impact stress has on our bodies. Something important this class would offer is a variety of healthy coping mechanisms and skills students could use. Having wellness incorporated into this class could help students find healthy ways to cope with stress and pressure. It will hopefully help students learn how to take care of themselves physically and mentally. Students would be able to learn about the different resources at hand, like helplines, counselors available at the school, online therapy websites that cater to students, programs to help students financially afford therapy sessions. They can also learn about other ways to cope with stress, like learning, journaling, exercising, meditation, and many more coping mechanisms. As you can see, there are many benefits to incorporating this class into the high school curriculum. In conclusion, a mandatory mental health and wellness class that every student must take every year through 9th and 12th grade will have a huge positive effect, bringing a less stigmatized school environment as well as better informed students. Today, I talked about having a mandatory mental health and wellness class in high school will reduce stigma, improve mental health literacy, and help students find healthy ways to cope with stress and the different resources that are available. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my speech today. I hope you all walk away understanding the importance mental health has on students and how we can be the positive change for the future generation of kids. Were there any questions?